Hey, it's Chris Beyer.
Chris Bowling.
Hey, Chris, we got some different backgrounds today. What's going on?
We are both remote.
Working remote today.
I am just a little bit west of Denver. How about you?
I'm in a nice, warm, sunny place way on the east side of the country, but still gives us a chance to work with our clients, to connect. I love this aspect.
Yes.
Different background to account for where we're at.
Right.
So you've got dogs in the background, right? So if we have some fun with those puppies,
Yes. So people watching might see two little pigs running around, and hopefully they stay quiet. One of them is a very loud miniature bulldog, so he makes the weirdest noises in the world.
Oh,
fantastic. So
fantastic.
you are right now enjoying some Disney time with your family, aren't you?
That's right. That's right. Some sun, and it beats the heck out of Midwest winter right now.
I hear you. So what are we talking about today?
So earlier in 2021, when we were talking about some embarrassing sales stories, I had shared that I had been on a sales call when I was, 5-6 years old with my dad. My dad has always worked as long as I can remember in the agricultural industry, working with farmers, working, somewhat with some trucking companies, but helping them with oil and lubricants and all the things that keep their machines running. And I mean, he's been doing that since I was 2 years old. So that's all I remember. How about you? Your dad had also been in sales for quite a bit.
Oh gosh, yeah. So when he came out of the Army, he went to work for Country Companies, which is a insurance carrier, and he stayed in that business until the day he passed away. And my mom even worked in his office.
That's great.
Brother-in-law worked for Country Companies, and my uncle was an executive at Country Companies. Wow. So Dad started there, and then I think he was at Country Companies for maybe 3 or 4 years, and then he decided, you know what, I'm going to go, start my own agency. And he was that small town, independent mom pop, do the home auto. He did that his whole life. But so I'm in the same boat. I mean, I pretty much knew going into college I would probably sell insurance. I thought I wanted to be a family counselor.
Right.
And senior year in college, my counselor said, Chris, you can't be a family counselor. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And she said, so the problem is that we have identified that you have zero empathy. And
I can vouch for that, right?
Which is why we like to coach, right?
Yes.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yes. Pick yourself up.
Yeah. I mean, I was dead set on being a family counselor. And then, after that, it made me think, I probably can't tell somebody that's struggling with issues to just get over it. That's probably not.
Doesn't work so well. That doesn't work so well. But yeah, you were talking about how your dad and you had family as well. I mean, my dad has sold for Sunch Petroleum, Sunpico company. My grandpa did, my great uncle did. So, I mean, it's part of the family. So it made me think when we were talking about this, like both of our dads have been impactful in us in terms of our sales career and our client relationships. What did you maybe take from what you learned from your dad that would be something that was advice for your career that's helped you continue to be successful?
Yeah. And as you know, because you and I go on meetings together, I probably didn't follow this advice very well, but I was fortunate enough that my dad spent an entire summer with me.
Yeah.
Just training, and just helping me understand how to have, proper communication. And I like to talk. And, literally at a dining room table, I'm talking and talking and talking. And my dad in front of these people turns to me and says, you know what, Chris, sometimes you just got to shut up and listen. Yes. I was like, so the first lesson that my father taught me was, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yes.
So you need to listen, ask a question, and, stop just blabbing. Don't show up and throw up. Right. So that was the first big lesson. How about you?
Oh, it's funny because you and I still have, our code words when we're in a meeting and one of us is talking too much to just politely tell us to shut up. No, it's all right. I still see my dad building relationships. And we talked about that, 2 weeks ago, and we had shared that his customers, the ag industry, if you're working with farmers, those are people that just work for their entire life. And so my dad is still fortunate to have some customers that, I remember when I was 2, 3, 4 years old that he still worked with. Some of those family farms aren't staying in the family as much anymore, but the relationships are there. And I remember, my high school graduation, our wedding, that not only did we have some of, some customers sending us cards and things like that, but also some of my dad's team that sells with him came to those events. And I think building relationships is something that I've learned well from my dad, and continue to see him do that in his career and throughout, all that time that he's been with the company.
So he is still selling today, right?
Yes, yeah.
How old is he, Chris?
He is 66 now and continues on. Just he loves it, and I think that's, you get into that groove of a relationship, what to do, and it's, he's very much like me, and he's that connector. It may be something that customer needs that he can fulfill, but it's that broader advice that I know he can connect them with somebody and say, hey, you need this, I know somebody. And those are, between the relationship and the advice giving, it's something that I've taken with into my career.
I love it. That's
and what else did you take from your dad? So shut up and don't talk is one.
The other big thing was, whatever you are representing, be the smartest person in the room on that topic. So he was big about, you've got to understand all aspects of that product, not just here are the selling points. It's understanding the back room, understanding what happens when you have a claim, all of the what ifs. So, anytime that we would add a insurance carrier, my God, he would just beat me up. I mean, it was like I was back in college. It was, what happens with this? So his biggest thing was, make sure you understand inside and out any product, any service that you're ever going to explain to a client, because you have to be willing to buy it first before you could ever talk to somebody else about that. So that was his biggest thing.
And I've seen that carry on, as you and I work together with our clients. I look to you for a lot more of the technical knowledge. You've certainly, worked in insurance a lot longer than I have, but I can see that you've taken time to understand the inner workings of a self-funded health plan more so than, what I've been able to learn in the time that we've been together. But then also, we both are doing a good job of having that knowledge, but then I think the same thing, asking questions and listening to that organization first. It's coming around, man. After all these years, you're finally taking your dad's advice, but it's
well, it's because I have you to help, right?
That's right. I carry that forward and want to slap you a couple times, but in all seriousness, to be able to come in with the knowledge and then ask the question and then deliver the right response, it takes patience, but I can see where your understanding of that, the different scenarios, what's going to play out. It's just helping guide that client to the right answer in most cases.
Right. Well, you are definitely a great connector. You love building relationships. I always give you a hard time that you're like, we're going to get to meet with so-and-so. And I've been calling on them for 7 years.
Yes.
So you have that skill set that I do not. What is the second big thing that your dad taught you?
I think it's beyond, the relationships and just, making that connection and advice. I think is enjoying what you're doing. And, to see my dad pretty much do that as much, like I said, as long as I can remember being that career, he has to enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to get up and do that every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to see that, over all those different stages of his career and our lives, that we're watching him enjoy what he's doing. And, all of us within the family have some positive memory of what he had done and how he had done it. And, it's a lot of that family experience is shared because he's enjoyed what he's done.
Yeah. So the big takeaway here is, find the people in your life that you love, that you trust, and learn from them. No matter how smart you think you are, their wisdom is a lot better. So, ask them. About 3 weeks ago, I was able to visit with my uncle, and, just once again, he was, in insurance his whole career, and just taking the time to ask some questions. What have you learned over your career? What has changed? But that's probably the biggest takeaway is, what, your mom and dad obviously are important in your life, but ask them questions, and they'll have wisdom regardless of they do X and you do Y.
Absolutely.